Today's sermon is titled, My Weed Teacher, the Wanda Kelp Mysteries, to be delivered by Rich Smucker. Today marks Rich's first appearance at our pulpit. Rich and I have come to know each other by virtue of his playing lead trumpet in the Atascadero Community Band that I conduct, and the now defunct Swing for Joy Jazz Band, which I played trombone in and he led. Rich himself is an accomplished trumpet player who once sat as a principal trumpet for the Chamber Orchestra of Southern Maryland, and he studied with Andrew Balio, the principal trumpet for the Baltimore Symphony. Rich is also a board-certified therapist, having served several Maryland agencies, including the ARC of Southern Maryland, the Springdale Center, and the Ashbury Health Care Center. Recently, he worked with the Arts for Living nonprofit in SLO County, serving families managing life with developmental disabilities. Several decades ago, Rich spent 20 years overseeing and managing research projects and teams for the environmental biogeochemistry at the University of Maryland and Smithsonian Environmental Research Center. That was a mouthful. Currently, Rich delivers workshops for artists and clinicians who work with improving the resiliency of clinical applications for the science of heart rate variability and psychophysiological coherence and A&S balance. I'll talk more about that later. Rich holds a BA in education from Goshen College, an MA from Shenandoah Conservatory in Virginia, and a doctorate in microbiology from the Ohio State University. An interesting tidbit of information, Rich was a guidance counselor for over 50 years ago for the Bureau of Indian Affairs at the Sabah Delkai Navajo boarding school. Rich, the grotto is yours.
Sound check. That was Wanda. While I'm up here, this ocean drum, the thumbprints on here come from multiple residents of San Luis Obispo County in helping make this ocean drum. If we have time later, we will demonstrate it. But from the hands of people with developmental disabilities and their connection with the sea came this life. Thank you for engaging me and Wanda in today's conversations. It is a privilege to share in the wonderment of the Pacific Ocean in Cambria as the foundation of today's meditation. In fact, I went through the fog early this morning to visit the Moonstone Beach. A special thanks for Andy for his remarkable management of the technical aspects of the morning. Yesterday was an interesting day of figuring it all out. Thank you. Jan for her musicianship and suggestions, and Mary for her musicianship and selection of the hymns. Thank you much. Randy for all his coordination of the morning and assistance with slides. I needed a lot of help. Spencer Riddle is an artist from North Carolina. He created the watercolors that you will see in the slides. And I thank Wanda Kelp for her guidance in being patient and listening, and for dress code for the day. She said, be yourself. So she came as herself, and I came as I was comfortable. So in an ideal world, I would have an iPad. However, today I have a me-pad. So you will see me turning some pages. As a wind player and as a vocalist, my goal is to produce sounds with efficiency, centered tone, and full color of sound. And as Andrew Ballio would say in the lessons I had with him, if you can't play every note everywhere in the tessitura of the instrument, high, low, pianissimo at the outset, you must keep at it. There is nothing to be forced, it has to be there. Wanda has helped in that journey. At first, the discovery of bull kelp as a horn simply intrigued me. I soon realized that each kelp horn has its own personality. Some of Wanda's family members are here today, but Wanda has been the chosen one because Priscilla here keeps blowing in my ear, and that's not acceptable. This one travels in my van at all times, but Wanda is going to be the spokesperson. So. And I would be remiss if I didn't apply a little bit of Wanda, and then the cornet goes away. I soon realized that each kelp horn has its own personality and fundamental do, meaning a pitch center. So every time you pick up a different one, it has a different thing, and you have to listen and carefully find out what notes are there. So I became a student of the kelp horn, especially in the last few months, where I have been the sole caretaker for some of the time for a family member who is completely immobilized. I have been cook, bottle washer, all of the things you can imagine for a 220-pound person, and all kinds of hazardous waste management. I'll just put it that way. I've become something that's very stressful, and I begin to appreciate what it might be like to be a mom 24/7, but at least I have time off, and I'm down here. So Wanda has helped me make it easy to make this transition. In fact, my cousin loves the sound of the kelp horn. He said, "Would you please play it?" So, and then of the entire family of kelp horns that have survived the storms, Wanda has emerged as the spokesperson of the tribe, not because she's egotistical, but she has the most mellow personality. Here are a few lessons learned, lessons which are fundamental to the techniques for listening to Wanda's inner voice. Patient listening, not forcing outcomes, but cooperative interactions. You'll see the word garland on the slide. Why pick garland? Well, I like mnemonics. Next. And how can this tangled mess, you might say, or mass on the beach, which came from just north of your formal Moonstone Beach, become a garland of hope? Well, growth and resilience, listening, and no defeat. So you'll notice there are 7 words or 7 letters in the term garland. In this mnemonic, the center L is for listening. Some years ago, I was fortunate to come across a book that the Cambria Library hadn't checked out, so they put it in a book sale. It had not ever been checked out. The name of the book is Muses, Madmen, and Prophets: Rethinking the History, Science, and Meaning of Auditory Hallucination by Dan Smith. There are 7 chapters in the book. I just discovered this yesterday. I had the book. I discovered there are 7 chapters. The center chapter is listening. Just food for thought. And I won't tell you if I'm a muse, a madman, or a prophet. I'll just leave that one go. Wanda says, The answer lies within. Listen in complete silence. I've had students say, when they're doing this practice, you've made me, my heart's racing, you've made me, what's happened? I said, no, now you're listening, you can actually hear your body. You didn't change anything. You're just now listening to yourself. Often asked, what is the key of the instrument? I don't know, because we're not using a piano, we're using ourselves. You can touch the bell of a horn, you can hear the acoustic center. In this case, that's sol, so, do, excuse me. And that is the call. One of the many bugle calls in the Civil War manual I have for buglers. Those are the first notes of the call. We'll come to that in a moment. Since the answer lies within, and as I said, each member has its unique sounds. And let's go on now to Wanda's world. In the ocean breath, recording, is there recording in there? This is from Moonstone Beach. Conducting inhalation. So an ideal in terms of the autonomic nervous system practice, Randy mentioned that I've been trained in to help people with anxiety and stress and better performance functioning. The idealized breath effect in Ujjayi breath or the ocean breath in yoga is approximately, well, just the simple form, the most relaxed form is 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. And you will see an idealized surfer's waveform will be like that, 5 to 10 or 5 to 7 seconds in one up and down. You'll see swells occur like that, the periods between. So that's both our, so Wanda's world has this ocean breath, and I'd like us to practice this. So if you say, without the vocal cords, the word, I'm dramatizing, but now if you do that without drawing out your throat and breathe through your nose and exhale through a small orifice in your mouth like a dental floss, you'll be able to play the sea kelp, in 20 seconds. I guarantee this is going to work. So inhale through your nose, same ocean breath. It's most important to have a controlled exhale. And the simplest control is that small orifice. Therefore, justification to play horns, trumpets, bugles, Wanda kelp. Next slide. So Wanda is in charge of this conversation. So now she's saying, and I'm her spokesperson, be still, be patient, and you will hear the sounds of my soul. Then the song of my soul. In this song, you will hear the song of the sea, where wind, sand, water, and rock create a symphony. First, let's learn this song. It's a stage for this. Happiness is here to stay, never in a hurry. Join me. Happiness is here to stay, never in a hurry. Happiness is here to stay, never in a hurry. No place to go, no place to be, no place to go, no place to be. Never in a hurry, never in a hurry. No place to go, no place to go, no place to be. Never in a hurry. No place to go, no place to be. Never in a hurry. Wanda, okay, let's go. Wade into the water, completely immerse yourself into the calm sea. Be firmly planted on the ocean floor. Find a good solid rock. And by the way, now we're going to go through the rudiments to learn the fundamentals of hula dancing. I'm not a hula instructor, but so being rooted and flowing. Wanda says, palms reach to the light. You can reach with me. So her fronds reach to the light, supported from all sides, moving freely from side to side. Sway with me. Move freely from side to side, being supported from all dimensions. Now rise and fall with the rhythm of the waves and levitate with the cycle of the tides. I, on my own, would recommend doing this many times. This is a very practical thing which gives you more air, brings in more airflow, regulates your heart rate. Okay. When the clouds darken and the wind is wild, remain resilient, yet rooted. But then, an unrelenting storm. Now, on a side, Wanda's life cycle is a year. So they grow up to 40 feet long in a year. They don't all make it to that length, as you can see. Some are longer. I found one yesterday after I left rehearsal, and I have let's see, it must be 8 feet long. It's in my vehicle, so I'm looking forward to hearing its sound. But then an unrelenting storm took me from my roots and tossed me ashore in a strange place, stranded, weary and worn. And this is one of the second of Spencer's watercolors. Alone, sun-bleached, skin and bone. I've either to give in, become dust in the water, molecules mixed in the sand, never to be heard from, seen again, or partner with the wind. Please, I prefer the latter, so that I can share my sounds, share my songs. And I've asked Rich to partner with me in making audible sound, soul sounds, patterns, and songs. It takes a community to make this work. Some of you will think of that as taps, but the original language for that is lights out. And so it's indicated in the manual for buglers. that one of the series of the lyrics is, day is done. Whoops, that's too high. Day, day, day. Help me out here. That's too low, and I'm doing it too. Do, do, boom. Excuse me. I'm going to go classical here. Okay, here we go. Day is done, gone the sun, from the lake, from the hill, from the sky. All is well, safely rest. God is one. What have I learned from Wanda Kelp? She is an example of a whole series of molecules, including carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, and all of the things that we're all made of. We're all part of God's universe. And ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But listening, like I recall the Hopi Indians would look to all the four corners, the Navajos as well, the four corners of the earth to see if things were in balance. Animals, plants, humans, all part of one. If a snake is missing from their annual pilgrimage for the corn dance, trouble is around the corner. So we're looking for all of these. So Wanda is part of this signal. Yes, Wanda can be eaten. She is made into, her relatives have been made into salads and other things. There are many, many things, but I had to use, we have the word cannibal in our history. So anyway, it's very interesting. An entity has a sound, has something to listen, to teach us, seemingly inanimate, but yet alive and vibrant. She is the existential form wherein patient listening is required. She became the teacher. I must listen. Hearing is not enough. In the silence of thought, I can listen for my sounds. In silence, I hear the song of my soul. In silence, I hear the need of my cousin. In the silence, I hear the need of my son. I don't have a son, but I'm saying this because of the sharing. Never in a hurry, with grace and poise. In music, we say there's fortissimo, FF. Let's turn that into loud, not loudness, but finely focused. PP means poised and placed. The perfect lesson for teaching how to play a horn. Not forced, but poised and placed and released. Never in a hurry, with grace and poise, the focused sound magically appears. Embrace your joys, elevate yourself with laughter, learn from your mistakes, use the mistakes as building blocks, build a palace of freedoms and blunders. Listen to the soul sounds of your silence.